Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. The girls are giving me a hard time this morning. I've just so you know, I know a lot of you are concerned. And rightfully so. I'm a little bigger. So I've started my diet. I'm down 12 pounds. But I'm starving to death because that's pretty much how diets work. This is the way really it works. You just have to accept it. Diet and exercise. Starve yourself and you'll lose weight. I mean, that's just what it's about. So Arlene and Connie and Brittany were all laughing at me because I was telling them how, for whatever reason, last night was the hardest night yet. Because I told my wife, God, I'm starving and I'm so hungry. And I was like, it was all I could do from, just throwing 4 pieces of toast on the toaster, going into the closet, grabbing a bag of chips. I mean, just, driving to McDonald's and, mowing down some French fries or something like that. Not that I really go to McDonald's, but, it's, my wife said, well, the fact that you're hungry just proves that it's working. So, I got that going on for me. I'll keep you updated, but, Jason, I know that you've been a little bit under the weather. I hope you're feeling a little better. It has been just a crazy start to 2022. The amount of, the sickness is out there, right? It's not, hospitalization type sick, but the amount of people having just not feeling well has been off the charts and has just created a lot of craziness. Grocery stores can't get the shelves stocked. I know we were at the grocery store the other day. It was 6:30 at night. The hamburger section, there was none. Completely empty. Matter of fact, the whole meat department was pretty much empty. The deli closed. They have signs all over the deli now. The deli is kind of, hey, we work about 8 hours a day because that's all the staff they have. Same thing. The meat counter was already closed at 6:30 at night. Just really fascinating. No checkers. Everyone's self checkout. It's been a crazy start to the year for sure, Jason.
I saw a similar thing at King Soopers here locally, so there was nothing in the.
There's going to be a big strike starting today at King Super in Colorado.
Yeah, so I haven't seen anything because I don't go there all the time myself. But the meat section was shut down early yesterday. That was for sure.
Yeah, they're doing it everywhere. By the way, for the local folks here in Arizona, King Super, it's Fry's, Kroger, all the same company. They have all these different names, but essentially, listen, you buy your groceries at Walmart, Kroger, or, Safeway, Albertsons, and then you see all these other different names. I guess, well, there's a few, there's Whole Foods, but by and large, I would venture to say probably 70-75% of Americans buy all their stuff from those 3 chains. It's really sad how this world has become. If you're not huge, it's almost impossible to survive out there. But yeah, the King Supers unionized there in Colorado gonna walk. Now, does that mean is everyone walking off, Jason? Do you know or do you not know? I mean, are the stores going to be open?
It's a percentage of the workers for King Supers. I forget the exact number.
So it'll just be inconvenient for the shoppers there. And, of course, listen, I get it. Everybody wants more money. And really, when you think about it, it's absolutely ridiculous. You know what? The Wall Streeters don't give a crap. They don't care about us. They've never cared about us. The bankers don't care about us. I mean, look at the bankers, the central bankers that were insider trading. Right? these guys only care about Wall Street. And listen, we put a bunch of guys in there that, let's face it, that's all they care about. They're Goldman Sachs guys, JP Morgan guys, right? These guys are all interconnected, and they don't care one bit. CPI numbers came out today, even hotter again. Now, they're willing to admit to 7% inflation. 7. And of course, now listen, that's fake inflation. That's not even the real inflation. That's just a number that they came up with some mathematical formula that doesn't even track inflation. Do they tell you that on the TV? Of course not. Why? Because, well, then you would really know that we don't care about you. They don't care about it. Listen, they're robbing our wealth right out from under us. They just said, we devalued your money by 7% this year. Thank you very much. That dollar is now worth 93 cents in 1 year. And of course, like I said, that's not even reality. The reality is it's probably closer to 20%. Real wages. Why is it that the people at King Super are walking out and wanting more money? Real wages. And we know, listen, everybody's paying more money. Everybody. It's not enough. Real wages down 3%. And again, once again, that's what they're willing to admit to. So really, when Jason and I keep talking about, hey, you know what, people are running out of money, this is what we mean. Even when you got a raise, still not enough. Patriot Radio News Hour. We're going to be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. It's sickening. It's time to get rid of this central bank. And you know what? Most people don't even know it. They're so damn clueless. I mean, this is something that would make mob bosses blush. This is something, think about it. I bet you the old noble lords, the old kings and the queens, I bet they're like, man, why couldn't we have gotten away with this kind of theft and robbery from the public? I mean, when you think about it, listen, we know it doesn't even track inflation. First of all, why would we allow that? Who in their right mind just all of a sudden said, it's okay? Let me give you an example. Shelter. Everybody knows new home prices are up almost 25%, and have been pretty much all year. Existing home prices, it's not as bad, right? They're up like 20%. Rent is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if you factor out a few places like maybe Chicago where rents are only up 5 or 6%, everywhere else in the country, rents are up 15, 20, some places 30%. You know what they said in this hottest inflation number since the 80s when it came to shelter? Well, they're getting better. I'll give them credit for this because 6 months ago they still said housing inflation was in the mid-2s. 4.1%. That was the number that they gave. By the way, the fastest pace since 2007, right before the housing crash. And it's an absolute joke, Jason, what they're doing. And you know what the sad part is? Most of the American public doesn't know it because you know what? You've been convinced that your 401k is going to save you. And you know what? Let's all cheer Wall Street because really the only reason why we would allow this is to let the rich guys get richer.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. I mean, I've seen people, they go to rent and they get in one room in some shared house, you know, like it's a house for rent, and I don't know, 4-bedroom house, and they're renting out the rooms, and it's like a shared house, and you're paying like $1,000 for a room in like a shared kitchen, shared bathroom situation. And you know, the guy with the mortgage, you're lucky if he has like a $2,000 mortgage. You know, he's got 4 renters in there at $1,000 each. You know, he's using that asset the way he should. But I mean, it's $1,000. You got to share everything, Joe. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, and renting something for $1,000 is cheap.
That's cheap. Yeah.
I mean, that is, it's crazy. And I'll just say this, as far as I don't have, I wish I had better news, but I don't. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. When we look at shelter, when we look at rents, we look at housing. I mean, housing's now become completely unaffordable. Wait for these interest rates to rise. And again, but it's been unaffordable. That's not news. The vast majority of Americans now can't afford to buy a house. Listen, most people, unless mommy and daddy give them the money, can't buy a house. Can't be done. The rich people can buy a house, but that's about it. Apartment vacancies. A very good indication of where rent prices are going to go. Like I said already, rents are up 20, 30%. Vacancies hit a new all-time record low ever. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about where we live here in Phoenix. There's nothing, apartment complexes everywhere. That's all they build here. And they're absolutely jam-packed. And you know what? Part of the problem, I'll just call it what it is. We got 2 million plus people a year coming through our border. You got to put them somewhere. Right? We're not sending them back. All the apartments are absolutely full. 97.5% full. That's actually unheard of. It was considered when occupancy rates got to 95 or 96%, that was like, okay, that's full. Because really all that's empty are the people are getting ready, they're moving in a couple of weeks. It's actually fuller than that, and now they're saying, listen, rents are going to go up even higher, and there's no let up in sight. And they're saying, the same thing, Jason. Hey, a lot of these apartment complexes, they're not able to finish them. Right? Because there's delays. They don't have the appliances to put on. They don't have the doorknobs to put on. They don't have whatever it may be.
Joe, I remember, it's been a while, but around the turn of the century, I rented a house with friends. 4-bedroom house, 2 full living rooms, lots of space, backyard with a peach and an orange, or an apple and a peach tree. $900 a month, divided up amongst 5 people. You're paying like $250 per guy. Back in the old days when you're younger, you could live with more people. $900.
Right. We all did that. Oh man, I don't know how to think. I think I paid the first place I lived with was a 5-bedroom house. It was right near the campus of the University of Arizona. And I think I paid, my share of the rent was $100.
Yeah.
$100. And I think back to my wife and I, the apartment we lived in before we bought our first house, we lived right in North Scott. I mean, now it's, I don't even know, it's so expensive where it was, but at the time, I want to say our rent was $695.
Yeah.
For this 2-bedroom apartment, $695. I'm going to take a stab at it today. My guess is it's somewhere between $1,800 and $2,400 to rent that same place. And I'm just, it blows the mind. I talk about the first house we ever bought. We bought, like you do when you buy a house. You want to buy as much house as you can afford. Right? That's what most people do. Right? Well, it was $135,000.
That's kind of the same as me. I was $190,000 for the house I bought in late 2004.
Yeah, so I was 3 years ahead of you. Right? And of course, 2004, that was the start. The housing bubble was just starting all over again. But again, I just can't understand how they sit there with these straight faces, and I watch on the TV, they act like, well, it was in line. We were expecting this, and it's okay. It's going to peak out soon. What happened to 2%? Right? A number like this, right, that not only would you have thought that the Fed would be having an emergency meeting and raising rates by at least half a point, a full point, something like that to get this thing under control. They don't want to do that. Believe me, Jason is 100% right when he says, hey, they're just trying to get it. If they can get this thing down to 5 or 6%, they're going to be happy.
Yep.
They're going to be happy. And I remember when Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke came out with that ridiculous nonsense. What was it like? I want to say it was 2008 when they created the 2% target. And then, of course, told us for like 12 years, oh, guys, we just can't get inflation to 2%. It's 1.8% or it's 1.5%. And I'm like, I don't know where the hell these people live. And now it's 7%. And they're like, it's okay. Don't worry. Think about this. Let's just say we get back to 5, which I don't think we will, but let's just say we did. Just understand what that means. 10 years from now, what you could buy with $100, right, would essentially mean, hey, I need $150, right? You're going to lose half of your buying power essentially overnight. And really 10 years is not that long of a time. Think about if you're having a kid, okay? And of course, as I'm crossing my fingers here, I'm almost done, right? I've got one kid getting ready to graduate college, already's got getting ready to get his finance degree. He's got a great job at Northwestern Mutual. I got another one who's finishing, his first semester of college, but 22, 23 years. If you go all the way through college, even if you don't, 18, right, through high school. Let's split the difference. We'll call it 20 years. In 20 years, everything will have doubled. Everything. So think about it today. That house is $500,000. 20 years from now, it's going to be $1 million. That'll be the starter home. Right? Wages, I don't even know where wages will lag, so wages will probably be only about $30 an hour. This is an absolute nightmare. Jamie Dimon was out and said, let me just quote, so Jamie Dimon, for those of you who don't know, runs J.P. Morgan, the largest bank in the world. Well, actually, it's not the largest bank in the world, largest U.S. bank. For the first time in his life, he says there is huge pressure in the U.S. labor market. And what he means by that, huge wage pressure for the first time in his life. And this is the part that Jason and I keep trying to tell everybody. They're not fighting this inflation. It's not stopping here. It's not getting better. The thing is only going to get worse. He said the price of labor is going up. And you know what? We're all going to have to deal with it. And really what he meant, and let me tell you what that means. Because if you're sitting there and you're out there and you're working, you're like, hey, that's great news. Right? Even Jamie Dimon says, listen, you got to pay me more money. You poor fool. All of that means is the price of everything is going up, and it's going way up, and it's going to be more than what you're getting paid. We just saw really wages in 2021 had one of the largest moves upward ever. And for the 9th straight month in a row, you're actually losing more money. Even though you're getting paid more, it's not enough to keep up, Jason.
Yeah, and maybe what Jamie Dimon's talk about needing more money. It's been a while since I talked about the 1% mortgage. If they really do make a serious attempt to push this thing a little further, another year, another 2 years, whatever, they have to alter things. And one thing they can do, Joe, is the big banks and the big businesses that are borrowing at essentially zero. Well, why don't you let them borrow at -1 or -2? Just give them the money because it doesn't have any value anyways. And then you give mortgages at 1% so that you can keep the housing market from cratering, right, Joe? And that'll help take care of some of these labor costs that are going up in the inflation. You know what I mean?
Listen, he just laid it out. I'm going to give it to you. Ready? Here's what they're going to try to tell us. Listen, you want us to fight inflation? Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. It's much worse to complain about 15% unemployment and a recession than it is to complain about the prices of everything going up too fast.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Jerome Powell almost, like, tongue-in-cheek says the same thing. Well, I'm just going to crash the market. It's just going to be better this way.
It's better this way, you guys. See? It's just better. Better for who? I know it's better for Jamie Dimon. Damn sure isn't better for the rest of us. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. I don't even know where to go when you sit there and you listen to Jamie Dimon, who just laid it out very, very simply. Hey, it's okay. We're gonna pay you more money. I mean, it's not gonna keep up with inflation, or don't. Believe me, you're gonna go farther into serfdom because we're going to sit there and tax you through inflation, the invisible tax. And I just, you know what, you feel the most compassion for the fixed income people. You're doomed. I mean, I know that Social Security gave you 5%. Well, they're admitting to 7%. We know it's way more than that. And think about how much worse off you are. And every landlord in the country is raising prices. Every one of them. And now he says, well, listen, we can fight that, but there's going to be unemployment of 15%, right? They throw out these. Think about this, the number he threw out, 15%. We shut down the entire economy. And the unemployment rate didn't hit 15%, Jason.
Well, they use some weird numbers for that stuff.
Right. Yeah. So kind of think about it. I mean, again, hey, I just want to scare you. Be careful what you wish for. Right? Because here's the path we're on. The path we're on is, hey, we're eventually going to, you're going to make more money than you've ever made in your whole entire life. And you're going to be the poorest you've been in your whole entire life. Because the sad reason is they want to keep the bubble going. Period. And how's the best way? It's just like COVID fear. We're going to scare you into this is the best way. Right? And they control all the media outlets. You know, if a number like this had hit 20, 30 years ago, they would have been ripping Jay Powell in the central bank. Today, what are they saying? Oh, it's fine. We expected this. Right? What do you mean you expected this? The guy was telling us inflation was going to be transitory 90 days ago. Well, I forgot. They buried that, right, Jason? That word got retired.
Right. Well, the numbers are so rigged. The system's so rigged. You can't really believe. Every time, Joe, you bring out numbers, I have to sit there and try to bend my mind about where did that number come from because it's all so fake. So,
well, yeah, they make you're right about that. They make them all up. Like I said, how in the world did we allow them to just reinvent the inflation number and create a number that has no semblance of reality. Here's the funny, when you look at inflation as the number goes, shelter makes up 1/3 of the number. 1/3. Now we know that shelter should be up 20%. 20. But they have this report that says 4%. So see, inflation's not so bad. Of course, if they reported what the real number was, inflation's not 7%. Heck, it's not 14%. We're talking about inflation in the 20s. That's really what's happening. You know how I know? Because you know how many 20-something-year-olds still live with mommy and daddy? That's how I know. Even me, and I'm, you know what? I'm in my early 50s. 17 years old, and I was out of my parents' house. Because you could do it. Now, there's no way you're not doing it. Like Jason said, well, if you get you and 10 of your closest buddies, then maybe you can. Right?
Yep.
And they talk about, oh my gosh, we got all these jobs open. Yeah, okay, you want to be a waiter? You want to be a busboy? You want to be a cook? Right? You want to ask people, would you like fries with that? Yeah, that's the jobs that are open. Let's not kid ourselves. The job for the college educated is not any better than it was last year, the year before that, 5 years before that, or 10 years before that. Yep, they're right. There's 10 million jobs open. There's 10 million people looking for people that want to serve your food, take your order, pour you a drink, cook your food, go get the shopping cart out of the parking lot.
Yeah, the restaurants are pretty sad, Joe. You go into a place now, it's trendy because it's all the guts hang out of the ceiling. Well, that's just the way that we build restaurants now. That's cool, they have all the air ducting hanging out. It's like that's just the way we do it. It's industrial style. And you go in there and it's like a bar, and you have to just like choose what you're going to put on there. And they quickly throw it if it has to be cooked or if whatever it is, and they hand it to you at the end of the line. You pay for it. There's no waiter. There's no. They have the tip jar there, so you're supposed to tip what would normally be like you go to McDonald's and order a burger, and they just hand it to you. You got to tip for that because hey, the business owner can't pay enough money for those employees. I mean, the dining experience has turned into a completely different, bizarre world now. Can you imagine? Remember, you used to get service.
Listen, Taco Bell closes at 7:00. 7:00 used to be open till like 2 a.m. Right? I mean, we see it everywhere. We talked about the grocery stores. Those are the jobs that are open. Don't kid yourself. Jobs that don't pay are available. That's it. I'm going to tell you, and I've been telling you this for a while now. You got no idea what's coming, so I'm going to lay it out for you. Let me give you another one. New all-time high. Guess what? Nickel. New all-time record high. So the other day it was lithium. Today now nickel prices have hit new all-time record highs, and they're saying all this, the same thing that everybody says, right? It's the push for green energy that's leading the way. But here's the one that I've been warning about, and it's coming. Oil. $83 today. And I promise you, by this summer, you're going to wish oil prices were $83. The largest oil producer in the Permian Basin. Okay, that's where all the new oils come from. It's a company called Pioneer Natural Resources. They pump a ton of oil. They announced in a filing this morning, they actually paid $328 million to get rid of all of its oil hedges. I'm going to tell you what that means next. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe Jaquint, Jason Walker. Gold's up $5-6 here, 18.25 right now on gold. Silver, pretty strong day here, up another 33 cents, $23.15 on silver. And we'll talk about silver here in a minute. I just want to let everybody know I've got 50 rolls, 50, 2 cases of U.S. Silver Eagles, and I got tons of different dates. $660 a roll. That's less than $10 over, which is unheard of in silver, especially over the last couple of years here. 800-951-0592. That's $40 a roll off. They walked through the door the other day, so we passed the savings on to you. 50 rolls U.S. Silver Eagles, $660 and fresh. They look really nice too. 800-951-0592. So before the break, the largest oil producer in the that Permian Basin, where all the fracking and all the oil's coming out, just had to, and you got to file when you do things like this. They just they filed with the SEC that they've bought out all of the remaining oil hedges. And let me tell you why companies hedge. So think about, remember at the height of the nervousness of the pandemic, when the cash oil price was below zero, right? That's when you want to have hedges. Hey, listen, that's okay. Cash oil can be great. We've got contracts locked in. We locked in at $60 a barrel or $70 a barrel. They like to hedge because it protects them from a downfall, right? Hey, well, we're going to lock in, like right now, oil's $83. They could be locking in. Yeah, I'm going to lock in. Nope. They did the opposite. They got rid of all of them. And what they had to say about where oil supplies are, where oil demand is, they're not doing this. Companies don't do this for an extra $10 a barrel. They don't do it for an extra $20 a barrel. They're doing this because they think the price of oil is going to double. And they don't want to be stuck. They rather pay $328 million to get rid of all of their oil hedges because they want to collect. They want to be collecting $150, $160, $170 a barrel, Jason.
That's right. That's right. They placed bets at 200, didn't they? So they may not see as 160 as being high enough. So we don't know where it's going. You talked about buying a home for $1 million over a set amount of time at 7% interest, but that's only if things are actually in that situation. We could see $1 million homes, starter homes, by the end of this decade. Things just go crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's where we're going into places we've never seen before, and it's not like it's never happened. World history, it repeats itself. We've seen these currencies blow up before, and hyperinflation and whatnot, Joe. So it's happening here in this country. It's going to happen worldwide. Every situation is different. This is quite the global system we're in. So that's the whole thing. Nobody really knows what the next step is. The great reset, so to speak, right, Joe?
Yeah, and so when you see these companies do this, listen, this was really similar to all the gold and silver companies when they took off all of their hedges back when gold was $300 and silver was $5. They've never looked back. Never looked back. And now all of a sudden the oil companies, here's what they said in their report. They said they lost $2 billion because of the hedges last year. Right? Because they were, hey, dude, we were locking in prices. You know, we were locking in at $60, $70 a barrel. We could have been getting 80. And now they're saying, listen, we don't even want to lock in 80. We're not locking in at 80. We're not locking in at 85. Right? And you don't gamble unless you know that, hey, we're going to be making billions and billions of dollars. And this is what's coming. I've been warning you about crude oil prices for at least the last 6 months now. And again, it's not rocket science. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. It's just math. And it's really easy math. The amount of crude oil in reserves is at one of the lowest points in history. Crude oil demand, I hate to tell people this, but the truth of the matter is we'll have more crude oil demand in 2022 than ever before. We'll have more crude oil demand in 2023 than ever before. And the supply isn't going to be there. If you thought, wait till a lot of people now, a huge, massive chill from the Midwest to the East Coast. Wait till these people get their heating bills. And here's the problem. You think your heating bill is expensive this year. Wait till next year. Heating bills, they're talking about up 30, 40%. Next year, it'll probably double. I mean, this is what we're looking at, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at inflation at higher levels than we've seen annually. So, like you said, 5% might be their dream of a new normal inflative rate, but maybe it's 7, maybe the new normal's 10 when the whole thing is done, Joe, and then they're going to try to adjust everything around that. Well, 10%'s normal, but it'll be okay because we got a new system for you. Just do what you're told, Joe.
Final segment coming up. U.S. Silver Eagles, $660, 800-951-0592. 800-951-0592. Wall Street was rallying. But I don't know if it's going to hang on. The Dow's come way back in now, only up 30 right now on the Dow. The S&P, the NASDAQ, not much movement there as well. Gold rallied all day yesterday, rallied after we got off the air yesterday, continues to rally again today. Up another almost $6 here at $18.25. Silver's up 33 cents. We've got U.S. Silver Eagles. We've got a couple of cases. It's all about price. When we've got the cheapest around out there, $660 a roll at 800-951-0592. And Jason, silver's being held down by one massive hedge by Bank of America. And what we're hearing, and I think you can relay on this, is somebody's buying up all the physical supply. I wonder who it is.
There's a little bit of Bank of America, a little bit of J.P. Morgan Chase going on with shorting. And what is shorting, and why does it manipulate the silver and gold prices? Well, very quickly spoken, as we're in the last segment, at some point, the paper versus the physical, the paper can no longer lie. It can no longer hide the truth, Joe. And that's kind of where we're headed with silver and with gold. But it looks like the silver squeeze might be coming to an end, Joe.
Yeah, it looks like we're people are hinting that the silver squeeze is the silver short, if you will, is coming to an end. That rumors circulating that Bank of America has been acquiring large physical amounts of silver, and when they let go of the hedge, then you're going to see a dramatic increase in the price. It's kind of funny because we've been wondering now, really, for the last year and a half. Right? Like today, I'm telling, look, it's 2022. I don't even have any 2022 Silver Eagles. They're just so ridiculously expensive. Nobody wants to buy them. But again, the Mint never can keep up. Everything's sold out here. Buying silver here at $660, it's going to be an outright steal because it's the same thing. Listen, Gold, silver, it's no different than crude oil. It's no different than natural gas. It's no different than lithium. It's no different than nickel. It's no different than beef. Everything, no different than lumber. They flooded this world with money, and they're going to cause the most massive inflation bubble the world's ever seen. And Jamie Dimon, who might as well run the central bank, just came out yesterday and said, get used to it. It's better than a 15% unemployment and a devastating recession. So, Jason, I'm going to just tell you right now, that's an all-out buy signal. That's why gold rallied yesterday, because he actually made those comments yesterday, and then gold started taking off. And again, I think most people out there that got an IQ higher than room temperature know the Federal Reserve has no plans to really fight inflation. What they want to do is act like they're fighting the inflation.